Working with Essential Energy and Wattwatchers has been quite a refreshing experience. They've come to us with something that they want to solve. We're interested in the information and we can actually get something out of this, and I find that really quite exciting that we can get down to the point where we can help them develop something that they can offer the community in the future.
The Smart Energy Community Trial is a way to test a future mode of operation for our network. There are three main parts to it. Firstly, understanding how we can manage the export of energy from rooftop solar into the network. Secondly, how can we store that energy in our network? And thirdly, how can we return the value of that stored energy to the communities that have put it there in the first place? The driving force for Essential Energy being involved in this trial is due to the amount of rooftop solar generation that's coming onto the network. Presently, we limit the amount of solar our customers can export to minimise power quality issues on the grid, but that results in a lot of wasted electrons. Working with communities on how they manage energy and how we capture the extra energy they export for them to reuse later will help us manage the network overall. This is really core to the future of our network.
I want to be able to trade my excess energy with somebody else, family members, friends, charities, somebody else that could do with a lower cost of power. Brian, just across the road here, contacted Essential Energy and asked him questions about issues we were having in the village. That led to Essential Energy taking some interest in our site for doing some trial on collecting information, how we use our electricity, thinking about how we could utilise all the solar that gets produced in this village and try and use it within our boundary or use it within the town to see whether we can actually get cheaper prices for our daily supply charges, which are pretty high around here.
We are trying to do many different things here to reduce our power costs. We now have additional metering in so that Essential Energy can learn what the power usage is in a village such as this of 275 homes. Greg and I put on training courses for residents, explaining to them, if you've got a solar system, you've got to change your mentality of how you do things. You put the dishwasher on in the middle of the day using your own solar power. You put your washing machine on during the day, you're using your solar. It's free and it's a matter of being energy efficient. It's not only cheaper electricity, we have people here that want solar. They've installed 100 of the Wattwatchers meters, and that will then give them a far better idea of what's happening in the village. And then they can say, those homes that are missing solar, you can put it on. Those that have it, if you want to increase it to 8 kilowatts or whatever, you can.
A Wattwatchers device is a ultra compact digital energy meter. It just gets installed by an electrician into the home's meter box, and it can monitor up to 6 circuits in a standard single phase home. And what it does is it gives you all the data of what's happening with electricity in one place. So you get your grid connection, and if you have solar, you get any solar generation and any export to the grid, and you can also see how much of the solar you're self-consuming. And then you can see some of the bigger individual appliances, things like hot water and pool pumps and air conditioning. So you get an idea of what the actors in your electricity story are. And people can literally go around, turn things on or off, see what's happening on the app. And it allows people to start to get an idea of the relativities of what are the important appliances. People are increasingly looking at moving more things to electricity, getting gas out of their homes, replacing petrol and diesel fueled vehicles with electric powered ones. All of this is a trend that means electricity becomes more and more important in our lives, and therefore you need more tools to manage it.
Once the device is installed into the meter box, we download the app, and that allows us then to get visibility of the feed. And that's been very useful to allow me to see a few things that I've never been able to see before in the data I've got off the inverter manufacturer's website or from our electricity retailer in the past. So it's given us really detailed information about what gets used, when it gets used, how much gets used. So we can make a few more decisions about what we want to do with different elements in the house. The app gives me some good visibility on what is happening with the live feed of electricity at any given time. It also gives us the history of previous days' usage and how that compares day by day. It also gives access to solar exporting. That's not something I've had great visibility of before. The other aspects I really like about the app is the budget. You can put in a notification level. When your bill reaches a certain amount, it'll notify you just to give you a warning ahead of time if you're interested in that. And then you can compare plans against my current plan and notifies me if there's a better plan out there. Also using the web dashboard, they've got the same sort of connection to that. I personally like the web dashboard more than the app because I can break down the power usage in a different way than what the app does, and it allows me to then see even more detail on a particular feed like the air conditioning or the hot water system. We've seen that throughout the night when we're asleep, for example, we're always consuming around 400 watts of power. So that's the sort of steady state for all the devices being in standby mode. Can't avoid that. We understand what that cost is, and we have no problem with that cost being incurred because we are saving most during the day and getting credits on our solar exportings.
We want to know that this village will still be fine with the electricity system we've got, architecture and infrastructure in 10, 20 years' time. One of the points we found out through the Watt Watchers trial was that our air conditioners actually draw power even when they're turned off, which nobody has known.
The energy transition to move from fossil fuels to renewables, to move from very centralised energy systems to decentralised ones, you need to completely rethink the energy system, and to do that you need trials, you need to test things out. It's always complex because the engineering might want it to go one way, but how consumers want to use their electricity and what they will do and how they will treat their assets, things like their batteries and their solar systems and their electric vehicles, can be completely different than what industry expects. These innovation trials allow you to bring out those issues.
Here I've got 6.7 kilowatts of solar, I've got a 6.8 kilowatt battery, I've also got an EV with a 95 kilowatt battery. Now, connecting that into the house, I don't need a battery. If people have EVs and can connect them to the house wiring, then you don't need to buy an external battery. All EVs have got more battery capacity than any solar battery you can buy. Most of those are only 6.8 or 10 kilowatts. So I could run the house off the EV for a week or more.
We heard from our customers through the regulatory customer consultation that they want reliability and they want resilience, and they want to be able to contribute more to the renewable energy agenda. As a result, we're going to see a lot more rooftop solar, and those systems will be larger. It is incumbent on us to design and build the network in such a way to facilitate as much renewable generation as we can muster. Installing batteries and learning how they work with communities is a really important step in making sure that we can offer the safe, reliable, resilient and affordable services that our customers expect. It's really important for us to hold customer-based trials because many of the technical bits are fairly straightforward, and we've got great engineers that can work those out. But this is about people and trust, and therefore it's vital for us to work with customers to understand what they're prepared to share and what they would expect from that in return. The Tea Gardens community has been a pleasure to work with. We didn't find them, they found us, and we have a very engaged community leader. Our first town hall meeting was absolutely packed out, and almost half the community signed up to monitor their energy usage. They're fantastic, they're engaged, they're enthusiastic, and they really want to make a difference.